The earliest pioneers here were Jerome Wehage, who purchased property from E.W. Philo, was actually the first purchaser. He bought the area that's known as the Cypress Creek acquisition now. That's pretty well known, the north side of Indiantown Road. And he also bought Jupiter Farms and held that temporarily. It was called Jupiter Fruit Farms back then. He didn't hold it very long. He sold it to the Beach brothers and Carl Gruber, who then remapped it and called it Jupiter Farms and Groves under the South Indian River Company. That was 1915 to 1924, right in there is when all this was going on. It was all woods as far as you can see. It had never been timbered, never been planted, never developed, no roads, no canals. Some of the first visionaries that were here that shaped this area, Solomon Warfield, he put the first rail through from Okeechobee. That was kind of the start of it. People had access to out here. The Randolph brothers, Orrin Randolph, Jay Randolph, came from Colorado. Orrin Randolph was a surveyor and an engineer. He did a lot of land speculation, and he was also the first to put a railroad into the farms as a siding. They're all self-sufficient, they didn't rely on the town too much. That's the appeal still. It's still very independent. We still have the neighbors that help each other out here. It's a tight-knit community.
Jupiter Farms has always been a fairly close community. In the early days, all of the farmers depended on one another. And by the 1950s and 60s, we had the C-18 West leg pull through and Pratt Whitney aircraft move in out west. So by that time, everyone in the farms was either a rancher or a farmer, or worked at Pratt Whitney or one of those related industries, or did a little of both.
When we got here, it was unbelievably quiet. It was all shell rock roads. All the bridges were wooden. There was no paved over canals back then. And there's occasional repair. Because of the high water, the bridge would float away.
During the 70s is when we had the feed store open up and the country store on Jupiter Farms Road. We had lots of community events, including horse shows and little fairs at the Burt Reynolds Ranch. So the community really formed together with the small population that we had.
Burt bought the ranch in 1968. We had moved out here in 1963. Whenever Burt bought the ranch was owned by the Al Capone family. What they were using it for was when they got too hot up in Chicago, you know, the guys that got in trouble, they'd send them down here to the ranch, and they had vegetables. They grew vegetables out here on the ranch, and they used it as a farm and kept them quiet, I guess, till they figured that they could send them back. We had lots of activity. You know, Burt wanted to make sure that he was part of the neighborhood. Neighbors could use the ranch to have meetings. We had a big arena built for the horses, you know, and doing the horse work. He wanted the people to be able to use it, have their horse shows here. And we had music events, and we had auctions, and
God, we had Easter egg hunts for the kids.
It was continually
parties,
something going on.
Square dances.
You know, it was something going on
dances.
about every month. You know, I mean, and it was the nucleus of Jupiter Farms. Yes, it was.
Well, I started working in the farms in 1974. It's been a long time ago. We've seen some changes, but they've all been for the best, I think. As you come through the farms, you'll notice a lot of what we call ranchettes. People who move out here to have pets, farm animals, chickens, horses, dogs, cats, and just have a little peace and quiet. Jupiter Farms is its own community only because we've preserved it that way. We have a lot of people who work really hard to keep the commercialization out.
In the 1980s, we had our first threats to the Jupiter Farms area, including the crossing of Indiantown Road by the expansion of I-95. They were planning on coming through right where Jupiter Farms and Indiantown Road intersects. A coalition of river advocates joined together and were able to get the Loxahatchee River designated as both a state and federal wild and scenic river. That protected the river, and it also brought together the community to start advocating for what we really wanted to see Jupiter Farms look like. In that period when the interstate was threatening to come through, we also had some threats in the corner of Jupiter Farms and Indiantown Road with the shopping center. It was over 100 acres that they were proposing to bring in a huge commercial center into Jupiter Farms. So when Palm Beach County was creating their comprehensive plan in the late 1980s, we were also creating our Jupiter Farms neighborhood plan, and it really brought us together as community advocates.
Doing the neighborhood plan, we did do a neighborhood plan for Jupiter Farms. For the commissioners that don't represent Jupiter Farms, it's sort of a guiding tool that shows what they want to have happen out here.
Once you drive in and out of Jupiter Farms a couple of times, you start noticing land, which is something that you really don't see in a lot of South Florida. These wonderfully beautiful swaths of land. As I was living here more and more, I'm noticing that Jupiter Farms is truly surrounded by these protected natural lands.
It's evolved from a farming community to a rural subdivision with a rural lifestyle, horseback riding, equestrian activities. You can still do your agriculture though on most lots out here. The amenities kind of outweigh any inconveniences, the inconvenience being that you have to travel into town for some things.
So now, because of our community's activism, we can be sure that these natural lands are protected and they're surrounding Jupiter Farms. Once we were able to get all of these lands into a public trust, we started developing a network of trails from Jupiter Farms into and through the natural areas. So we have horseback riding, bicycle riding, and hiking trails that connect Jupiter Farms into and through all of these natural areas and parks, as well as the Blue Ways Trail System, which starts at the Loxahatchee River. The residents love our natural areas, not just for the beauty that it creates, but also because of the preservation of wildlife habitat and because they know that this is our watershed. We all live on a surficial aquifer around here, and all of these wetlands that are surrounding us provide a recharge for those wells.
Jupiter Farms is fortunate. We have Jupiter Farms residents, we have the Jupiter Farms Environmental Council, and we have so many community members that truly care about our area. But I feel that there are times that Jupiter Farms is constantly going about its business with our head looking over our shoulder as to what's coming next. And I think there's a lot of truth in that. If you've seen what has come and gone over the years, what we've been able to fight off, what we've been able to mitigate in size, those threats keep coming. And fortunately, we're scrappy. We will fight for what we believe is best for our community. We try to do the best research we can. We try to educate. We try to advocate. And I think moving forward, Jupiter Farms has a really good outlook.
The key is that the neighborhood, the community, kept itself special. Jupiter Farms is unique. I mean, you're not going to find a community like this pretty much anywhere else in the county that has that kind of, again, natural feel to it while it's still a community. So having the Loxahatchee River here, having the natural lands surrounding it, all the parks that you have some of the park system within Jupiter Farms. So it's very unique to everyone in the county.
99% of the people here enjoy the farms and will protect the farms. We do have community groups that make sure we're preserved. You see Riverbend Park, phenomenal. Oh my gosh, it's great. The new park, Pine Glades, which is west of us. Of course, the highway there on the north side of Indiantown Road, we have another park there. The Jupiter Farms area is such a unique area. I mean, I can't describe anywhere else that has that same values. And that's what makes us so different. And I have to thank the commissioners for keeping their finger on preserving it. We are in the hub of perfect.
So our biggest challenge has always been from developers who come in and see large lots of land and want to put either commercial or large-scale residential developments on it. This really started in the early 2000s when MacArthur Foundation sold all of their holdings, and we ended up with developers coming from everywhere trying to redevelop Jupiter Farms and the surrounding neighborhoods. We were really fortunate at that time because Palm Beach County had passed their conservation bond program, so the county had some money to buy lands to preserve. So we created the Jupiter Farms Environmental Council to advocate for the preservation and restoration of all of these natural lands, and also to hold developers accountable for matching our rural character here in Jupiter Farms.
Well, it's really different in a lot of ways. The first way is, I think, the strong, very strong sense of community that the residents have here. They are united to a person in wanting to keep the way of life that they've been able to establish for themselves here. I've seen during my 8 years on the commission several developers come out here with ideas to do things, and the community felt like it was going to change the nature of the community, and they had to be withdrawn. The unanimous opposition of the community to a lot of projects that would change things here was just too much for developers to overcome, and that doesn't often happen. You know, developers can be persistent and stubborn, but coming up against the residents here, they have no chance.
Everybody comes here for different reasons. Sometimes it's because of the bigger lots. Sometimes it's because they just want to be away. But you know, we're still 25 minutes from West Palm Beach. We're 25 minutes away from Clematis. We're 25 minutes from the Kravitz Center. We're 25 minutes from the airport. We're still in reach of all of the wonderful cultural draws that Palm Beach County has, but we don't have HOAs. We don't have cookie cutter homes. We have a totally 100% different lifestyle out here.
To live out here is so unique. We just love it.
Well, that was like almost perfect timing. That's I don't know if we should hold for the 2 minutes or should we just press on? So it's always nice to see the people on camera smiling as that video plays. And it's always nice to see your bright and shiny faces. This is our agenda for tonight. Jillian, I know that you have something to say about this.
I do. Are we waiting for the 2 minutes though? I think we
Well,
should.
now would be waiting for the 1 minute. So we can just riff.
I think we should wait 1 minute and 18 seconds.
Okay.
And is
That's
that
fine.
Deputy Cassie? I know he usually comes in as Brian's iPhone. I see iPhone.
I don't know, but I also see that we have a Deputy Woods.
Yes, he's very nice.
So we've got a good contingent that somebody is going to be reporting when we come to that part of the agenda pretty soon. And
We could probably get Deputy Woods to talk smack about Deputy Cassie abandoning us because it's, you know, it's a thing.
I know it is. It's real. All right. Well,
Wait a minute.
I still have 6:59.
I do too.
But when it clicks to 7 o'clock, would you like you to feel now it's 7 o'clock? Hit it, Jill.
Okay. So tonight's meeting is being sponsored by Kessa Longfellow. She is with Waterfront Properties and is a real estate agent who also lives in the farms. And she was kind enough tonight to donate a $50 gift card. Normally, if we are live at the meeting, we do raffle tickets that support our events and scholarship. And we sell tickets and we raffle off. But since we are still online, we've been doing it via the chat on here and on Facebook. So if you guys are watching on Facebook and you want to be in the raffle for later, just type in gift card. It's a Farmhouse Cafe one, which is really nice. So if you type in, we're watching the Facebook page and the group, as well as the chat in here. So if at any point, I guess we'll mention this about halfway through again for people coming in late. So just type in gift card and we'll figure out who wins at the end of the night. And I guess you're ready to get started, Matt.
We are ready to get started indeed. Thank you very much, Jill. And first up is our PBSO report. I believe that's probably, we have Deputy Cassie. Who do we got?
Deputy Russell.
Deputy Russell. Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome. I went back to the last meeting, I guess it was January 11th, the month. We had one stolen motorcycle that's taken out of a shed. We had a stolen mailbox and 2 thefts from one house. I believe that was all tenant related, not a neighborhood problem, a tenant problem. Other than that, we've been doing good.
Great. Do you want to? I know the burning question out here is there was some big going on Haney Lane, FBI, ATF. I'm not sure what was going on. I don't know if it's an ongoing investigation, you guys can even comment on or not.
If it was FBI and federal, they probably didn't even include us, or it might have been a narcotics thing.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't even know. It didn't come up in my stuff.
Okay. Well, that's now the mystery of Jupiter Farms. The gossip train will get along with that.
If I do find out what it is, I'll let you know. But as of now, I don't know.
Cool. Yeah, I think that happened last week, about a week ago. So who knows what's going on? I don't see anybody popping in with any questions for you on either chat. I know we're about 10 seconds behind on the Facebook chat, but I can bring up, I know we have the other little graphic that I always tell people to try and put that number into your phone, and obviously everybody knows 911 for the emergency number, but put 561-688-3400 is a great number to have in your phone for those non-emergency numbers for stuff that goes on out here. And since I see no other people asking questions, I guess we can press on. Thank you very much, Deputy, for being with us, and I guess we're going to see you. We're hear from you next month as well.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Have a great night.
You guys have a good day. Bye.
You too. Thank you. Do we have Mike Dillon?
But before we go to Mike, I just want to everybody give a little wave to Deputy Woods, who's up in our area now.
Hi, Deputy Woods. Welcome.
He only pulled me over twice this month.
In your slow-moving Tesla? Were you going
my slow-moving car?
It's not like a golf cart,
right?
You'll be seeing me out and about. Cassie's still on the team, but he's got some other endeavors he's taking care of. So you'll see me popping in and not replacing him, but working with him.
Nobody can replace him.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
We all have abandonment issues now.
We do.
But
we do have abandonment
you're
issues.
doing really good. So
thank you.
All right. Well, now that we stepped on Mike Dillon's toes, Mike, are you out there?
I'm out here, Matt. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm
There
good.
he is.
I'm good. Hey, can you see me?
Yeah, we can see
Barely?
and hear you. No, you're
awesome.
fine on your little iPhone.
Yes. Yeah. Well, actually, I'll let you know in a minute. But first off, we have a board meeting, South Indian River Board of Supervisors, next Thursday, the 17th. Thank you. 6 o'clock.
You're very welcome.
District Work Center. You can attend in person or attend by Zoom. And that's 6 o'clock at the District Work Center. We have been doing some road resurfacing. Matt, thanks for your help getting the word out. We really appreciate it.
Our pleasure.
If you see some road maintenance signs on your street, you can guarantee that we're doing some road resurfacing this week and first part of next week. Those signs were followed up by door hangers handed out by our district staff, pretty much detailing what the scope of work is going to be. And if you have any questions, you can call the office or get up with one of our staff guys who will be out with the contractors. And all right, the list of roads. Thank you very much.
You don't have to take the time to read every one of them if you don't want to.
Yeah, I can't see any one of them, so so I appreciate it. Actually, we finished everything north of Indiantown today, and we're moving south of Indiantown right now. So again, if you see those road maintenance signs out there, they've been out there all last week. And if you have any questions, you can call myself or Holly at the office. So I appreciate it, Matt.
Will do. Thank you very much.
Yep. And then also you'll be seeing crews out there doing some swale recontouring, getting ready for the rainy season. If you were here last summer, wasn't quite the rainy season that we normally have. And we've been getting quite a few calls regarding that, and especially from all the new homeowners that have moved out here the last couple of years. So yeah, we'll be evaluating the ditches and like I said, doing some swale recontouring. And while we're doing that, we're checking landowners' driveway culverts, making sure they're operable. And of course, if they're not, then we can talk to them about our culvert replacement program that we have. So be on the lookout for that as well. And that's all I have for now, Matt.
Great, Mike. Thank you very much. Again, I don't see anybody popping in with any chat comments or questions, either on Facebook or here. So I guess you're probably free to go as well, Mike. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I need to take off, but appreciate it, Matt. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you. Jillian, you were waving frantically. Is there something you needed to say?
No, she's just waiting.
I was waving goodbye to Mike.
Okay. Bye, Mike.
Bye, Mike.
When I see Jillian waving frantically, I usually figure it's I got to go to her. But take care, Mike. Thanks very much. We'll see you at the meeting next Thursday. Thank you.
See you next week. Thank you. Bye.
Susan Kennedy, I know that I have your title card up here for the Jupiter Farms Environmental Council, but you wear a lot of hats, and I don't have enough title cards in reserve to make them for every which one that you're going to come on. So why don't you come on and talk about what you need to talk about from whichever hat you're wearing. You have to unmute your mic.
Okay, thanks for that reminder.
You're very welcome.
And on the spot, like, I don't think that there's anything pressing at this moment. With regards
not for the Jupiter Farms Environmental Council. Right.
With regards to any kind of development issues, there was a question on our Facebook group about what's happening with the small property that is in front of Reynolds Ranch and to the south of Town and Country feed store. So just real briefly to address that, you'll notice that if you drive on Jupiter Farms Road, that the lot has been basically cleared of exotic trees. And I believe that if they haven't already started, I believe that they're going to be pulling up some of that asphalt that's there. I think they have already started doing that. And they're like redoing electric poles that had been there for ages and taking those out and that sort of thing. That property, which is less than an acre, I think it's like 0.87 acres or something to that effect, is going to be deeded from K. Hovnanian to Palm Beach County Prim is what the title of the office is. It's now I can't remember it. It's their real estate office. It's Property Real Estate Management Office. And they are the ones who hang on to properties if there is a requirement in the code that properties are to get donated to the county, then it's that office that hangs on to them, and they determine if that land is going to be used for something in the future. In other areas of the county, those properties are used for things like community centers or the health departments, or can be transferred to the library or that sort of thing. But our area doesn't have the density to support any of those services. None of those services are provided in the rural tier, which is fine with us. We don't need those kinds of things. But that land is basically just going to sit vacant because they won't ever let go of that land, because it's what they call land banking. And if you were here in the farms when the school board bought the original 153 acres of Burt Reynolds Ranch, they called it land banking at the time because they thought, oh, it's going to get so developed up here, we're going to have to build tons of schools. And so this 153 acres is where we're going to do those schools. Well, that didn't happen because we fought all of the development and we won and we got all the lands purchased. So the density never qualified us to have schools built on the land, and they ended up selling it as surplus. Well, that took 15 or 20 years for that to happen. When we were doing the negotiations for preservation on Reynolds Ranch, we asked the county if there was going to be, if this land was just going to be sitting vacant for maybe 20 years, is there any way that the community could use it to say have some sort of passive use on it? Perhaps a community garden. So they were positive to that idea 8 years ago when this was all happening. Of course, it's a whole bunch of new people there now and nothing works fast at the county, but that is something that the Environmental Council is starting to work on again as the land actually starts getting transferred to Palm Beach County rather than being in the developer's hands. So that's what's happening with the land. Don't be alarmed with the trees coming down. They are required by law to take down the exotics before transferring the property by deed to the county. So, but it's not going to be a Wawa or a gas station or anything else that people were imagining it might be.
Well, it's not, it can't be anything commercial, correct?
It's,
I mean,
not ever going to be commercial.
And it's not ever going to be out of Palm Beach's hands.
It's very unlikely. If it were to ever be out of Palm Beach County's hands, it's going to take 20 years for that to happen, is my guesstimate. It's also not in the hands of the schools or Palm Beach County Parks and Rec. And I want folks to understand that because there were some comments about, oh, it should be another park. It should be a place for the kids playground, that kind of thing.
Right.
It's not going to be that. It is not Palm Beach County Parks land. Recently, there was a post about the new plans for the playground at our existing park. So that should be what people are looking forward to. But this little site isn't big enough for anything that the Parks Department would plan.
Right.
So that's the Environmental Council hat. What other slide do you have for me?
Okay. How about this one?
There we go. So we had a great response for the craft fair for the Jupiter Farms community Christmas celebration this past year. So good, in fact, that many of the crafters were asking, can we please do this in the spring? So we looked at a lot of dates, and Jupiter Horsemen's Association had their site available for April 9th and are willing to host us again and be a partner for the event. So we are having a Jupiter Farms Community Craft Fair Spring Edition for the first time ever, April 9th from 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock. And there is something else happening in Jupiter Farms Park that day, but I'll let you guys talk about that.
Thank you very much.
But the craft fair will be limited in the number of vendors because we're only going to be taking half of the parking lot, basically the same size that we had at Christmas. So we won't be expanding the number of crafters that are approved. And because of that, we are giving the folks who participated in the Christmas craft fair, the vendors there, they're going to be having first preference for our signups. And their invitations are going to be going out within the next 5 days or so. And then we'll open it up to anyone else who wants to be a vendor at the beginning of March. I think I spelled beginning wrong. There shouldn't be two N's there, right?
I didn't proof your work.
Thanks. So just send, if anyone wants any more information, please send it to the same Jupiter Farm JF Parade events at gmail.com, same one we used for Christmas. And we are looking forward to having a fun time. I mean, it's spring gift season starting in April with Easter and Passover and Father's Day and Mother's Day and graduations and school gifts and all that kind of stuff. So it'd be a great way for folks to come out and get some handcrafted items.
Or you could start your Christmas shopping early.
And and a little owl birdie told me that we will have also a special guest at the craft show because Bush Wildlife will be having a booth at the event and we'll be bringing at least one animal.
Well, that's going to be a hell of a day over at the park. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Susan. Appreciate your reports as always. Jillian, you're now waving your hands frantically to say goodbye to Susan.
No, she's not going anywhere.
Okay.
Kessa was in a meeting earlier, so I know I did a little intro of her, but
You
she is
did.
now in the meeting. So let her say hi and tell us a bit about what she does. And
Kessa, come on and say hi.
hey, Kessa.
Hi everyone. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. I'm actually driving right now, but I can talk. So I just wanted to say I'm so happy to be here. My husband and I found our way to the farms a little over a year ago. We live in the farms with our daughter. We absolutely love the community. We love what you guys do for us, Matt and Jillian and the rest of you. So excited to get more involved with the community. And I just wanted to say hi. So I'm with Waterfront Properties and Club Communities. I'm a real estate agent full time, and I work with lots of buyers and sellers in Jupiter Farms, Calusa, and the neighboring communities. So I do send out a monthly market report, which has new listings and properties that have sold and gone under contract. If you would like to be added to the list, you can reach out to me. My email is Kessa, Kesa @wfpcc.com, or you can find me on Facebook and say hello, and I hope to see you all around. I'm also working on updating a vendor book that an agent prior to me, Kelly Rue, who many of you may know, had going, and I'm working on updating that and getting that up and ready for everyone to have a nice copy of.
That's awesome, Kessa, and thank you. Thank you, and for not only sponsoring the meeting, thank you. That market report that you send out, I mean, I'm not moving, I'm not selling, I'm not buying, I'm not going anywhere, but I think it is a really very insightful report. So for those of you who may not have caught Kessa's email, it was on the agenda on the first card that we showed. So, you know, once this thing posts, you can go back and freeze frame it, and it'll also be in the notes. Or you could just ask Jillian, because she knows pretty much everything that's going on here. The other thing that I wanted to point out is that Waterfront Properties has been a great friend to Jupiter Farms residents. They were our primary sponsor for our JFR shootout for a couple of years there, and you know, hopefully that'll be coming back next year. So welcome and thank you very much, Kessa.
Thank you. Really looking forward to it.
Us too. All right, moving on with our agenda. We're back to notice our new logo for this year, Jupiter Farms. We're celebrating our 30th year of, I mean, not me, I'm far younger than 30, but the old timers like Susan, who started this way back when, she remembers those days. And if you didn't catch our little Jupiter Farms, I don't want to say promotional film, but our infomercial or film that gives all the background information, that was the lead-in for our meeting, and we do that pretty much at 6:45 every meeting night. So because new people are keep catching it. Our meetings, for those of you who are here or who are watching this after the fact, we have another meeting coming up March 8th, then April 12th, May 10th, and June 14th. And you can always go to jupiterfarmsresidence.com for more details. And I know that we're simulcasting on Facebook, and it's interesting to see the algorithms of how many people actually watch this thing after the fact. We have a ton of people here in the Zoom meeting, which is awesome. We have people watching live online, but you know, it goes on and on and on. So now Susan alluded to it. We have the Spring Family Fun Day coming back this year, finally, after being absent for a bit. This is a free event that we have on the same day as the Spring Craft Fair, April 9th. The Spring Family Fun Day will be April 9th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And this is again over at the Jupiter Farms Park Pavilion. And, you know, this is the event where we have the egg, not the egg toss. What am I supposed? Jillian, tell them what they'll have.
We do have an egg toss, actually,
okay.
too. So if you're new to the area, this is a long-standing tradition. The day starts off with an egg hunt. Even if you don't have kids, come watch it. It's sort of like locusts landing, grabbing eggs, and it's a lot of fun. And then we go in, we have all different games for the kids, egg toss, bingo games, just a nice little day for the family to come out. And think that's it for the day, right? Am I missing anything? Oh, yes. Photos with the Easter Bunny.
Right.
The
Photos
Easter
with the Easter
Bunny
Bunny.
is his
We
favorite
don't have to talk very much about that. Just leave that
day
as
of the
photos with
year.
the Easter Bunny. But what we are adding this year, we're not exactly sure what time it's going to kick off, but after the Spring Family Fun Day, we are going to be resetting, and we are going to have the first ever Jupiter Farms Music Festival. This is going to be a series of bands in the park. We will have a beer and wine truck. We will have a couple of food trucks present for this, some dessert truck, and more information on that will be coming. But yeah, this is something that COVID prevented us from having. We had to pull out of it because everything shut down 2 years ago, but we are moving ahead with the Jupiter Farms Music Festival. Kevin Raub, our musician in tow, is going to be putting that all together, and I'm going to be helping him. And I think it's going to be a great, fun evening twilight event, which is something that I've always been wanting. So more information will be released on that as we move along. Next up, don't forget, on March 1st, if you know a graduating senior that lives out here in Jupiter Farms, March 1st, the application window will open at jupiterfarmsresidence.com for our scholarships. Last year, we were able to award over $5,000 in scholarships to deserving young people who are getting ready to continue their education, whether it be at college, university, trade school, whatnot. So please, if you know somebody, remind them that this is coming up. The window is open for a month and a half, from March 1st to April 15th. And then we announce the winners. It's an easy online application. We've streamlined it over the years. And so that's about that. Don't forget also, we are now, I think, well, that's an old card. We're now in season 4 of the Jupiter Farms Residence podcast. As of yesterday, we have over 10,000 downloads of the Jupiter Farms Residence podcast. So I think that's pretty amazing for our little community. And for those of you who might be new here, there's great stuff in that regarding just things that happen in our area, regarding the South Indian River Water Control District, regarding how our commission is run, regarding important events that are happening out here, and the people that help in all ways, shapes, or forms. If you're new to out here, I think it's a great source of information for you. So moving on, I always like to put this in towards the end. If you have a cell phone, and we all do, put in this number, 561-599-0071. This is the Bush Wildlife Emergency number. This is their after-hours contact. And if you've lived here for more than a couple of years, you've probably used this. This is the number that you can get in contact with the staff at Bush Wildlife. They'll be a lot closer soon. We're hoping in about a year. And so they can help guide you if there is a sick, injured, or orphaned member of our wildlife community. Talking trash. This is, Jillian, maybe you should be the one to talk about talking trash. You're there, and you talk trash.
So about once a month, except for the hot weather, Kathy Moore and Flossie Simpson have an amazing little group that we meet at the park. I go there to sign community service hours, and everybody meets up at the park at 8 o'clock, spreads out over the farms, collects trash, comes back and meets at the pavilion at about 10. It's amazing to see the kids that come out and how much stuff they collect, and they do great prizes and stuff like that. So the February one is on the 19th. It's the second Saturday. So if you have the inclination, it'd be wonderful to have you join. Also coming up in April, they participate in the it's Earth Day Great American Cleanup. So it happens nationwide, and they're part of that for Palm Beach County. So they're going to have all kinds of like fun swag for the April cleanup. So if you come in February, then you can see what it's like and come back in April.
And also, Jillian did mention those wonderful things called community service hours. If you are going for the Jupiter Farms Residence Scholarship, nothing looks better to Jupiter Farms residents than helping out in our community. So keep that in mind, graduating seniors. That is all we have for today's meeting, and this might be a record. It's 26 minutes past 7. I don't see any questions or comments in the chat or on Facebook. We can hold for a little bit of time, but other than that, this might be a record, kids. We're out of here by 7:30. Looks like Susan's going to add something.
Sorry, I just wanted to say, community service hours for the Talking Trash cleanup, but also we have community service hours for high schoolers that want to help with the spring events as well.
Same with us, both sides.
Please.
Absolutely. There's going to be tons of openings for April 9th between the craft fair, between the music festival, and between the Spring Family Fun Day. Yeah, we'll have a lot of hours that we could be giving out. So so come one, come all. Bring your friends, bring your family.
And even though Kessa is not a high school student, we'll be sucking her into that too.
Absolutely.
I'm excited for the music fest.
Yeah, we're all excited for the music fest. It's gonna be a fun night for sure. So
I have a question about that, Matt.
Yes,
is that gonna be like a bring your own chair into the grass kind of thing?
yeah.
Just
Bring your own chair,
wondering,
bring
so
a
folks-
blanket, bring your own hammock. It's going to be a music festival, on the lawn. We're going to have our stage, we're going to have our lights, and we're going to have multiple different music acts for your approval.
Susan, if you don't approve of it, then they can't.
Then there's really nothing we can have. And Sophie, who just commented that she moved into the neighborhood a few months ago and loving the community and the podcast, and all of you guys who do an amazing job. Thank you very much. That means a lot. Jillian blew you a kiss. I don't usually do that. Magali, we don't know who's playing yet. And as we get the band signed, quote unquote, Kevin, I see that you just unmiked. Maybe you have some information.
Yeah, it'll be all local performers, duets, bands, solo performers, and we're going to reach out on Facebook, and you could just reply to me and we'll get you signed up.
Yeah, so if you have a local band, hit us up at Jupiter Farms Residence, and we can get you a booking. Come one, come all. All right, so it is 7:28. I see no other comments. Jillian's waving again frantically. Of course you do.
I'm not frantic. This is frantic. Okay, so we need to choose the raffle winner. So I'm just checking online and making my little list. And now I hear myself on the meeting. So let's see, who's a neutral party here? Kevin, since you're there, give me a number between, like, I don't know, 7.
Whoa, hold on. Deputy Woods, I think, is a neutral party. Yeah, let's get the law in on this one.
All right. So
if he's still
Deputy
listening.
Woods, yeah, he's like,
yeah, I'm still here.
He's here. Can you give me a number, say between 7 and 20?
7 and 20. Let's see. 9.
9. Okay. So what I planned on doing is going down the list, and the first 6 people on my screen are us, and we're not winning the raffle because that's not fair. Thank you, Deputy Woods. Okay. So what did he say? 9? I have to go count now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hey, stop moving that around. I gotta do it again. 2, 3, 4, and we have 3 here, and 9 is Sophie.
Sophie, congratulations! You just won
now
a
she's
$50
now we get
gift card. Yeah, now she's a celebrity. You get a $50 gift card to the Farmhouse Cafe, courtesy of Kessel Longfellow and Waterfront Properties.
Very
Congratulations.
Cool. That's so funny. I'm so grateful to Kessa for that. I actually sold her home, so.
So I'm sure she's grateful to you too.
Oh, that works out well. See, now it looks.
Oh,
fun.
hey, Sophie.
Hey, Kessa,
Yes.
I was going to say, I'm going to have to send you a text message and say, thanks. I haven't been to the Farmhouse Cafe yet. So this is a great opportunity.
I think you're going to love it.
You can feel free to take me with you, just.
I'd love to meet you, Jillian.
Feel like I'm not taking you to dinner with my gift card.
The kicked up mac and cheese is pretty awesome. But so is the meatloaf.
Noted.
All right. So I think that is everything. At 7:31, we're going to sign off. Thanks everybody for coming to the meeting tonight. And we will see you next month. If there's any questions, please feel free to get us at jupiterfarmsresidence.com. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a great night, everybody.